About a week and a half ago, you might have seen a video get uploaded to this channel where I applied for 2 cards in the same video, one of which was the US Bank Altitude Connect Visa Signature card. The result at the time was pending, and now here I am in front of you all on YouTube to publicly announce that it was a denial. In fact, I even got a letter about it. So I'm going to do the best I can to take this undesirable outcome and turn it into a better one. Ideally, that will be an approval. So first we're going to call the reconsideration line and see what a live agent can do for me in terms of turning it around. If so, then great. If not, we'll still go over a bunch of other things, like what I could have done to potentially get approved, also some other factors that were holding down my score, also what my score was, which bureau they pulled, and also which score model they used to determine my score. All of this and more coming at you right now, starting with the recon line. Let's get things started. I just did a search online via Google for the US Bank reconsideration line. I found it right here on Wallet Hub, 1-800-947-1444. But then I also looked at the rejection letter that I received directly from US Bank, and at the bottom under their signature line, it says here, "Sincerely US Bank Credit Department," and that same number right down there. So I could have just looked at my own letter. 1-800, I got my phone right here by the way, 947-1444 speakerphone. That way you all can hear it, and we'll give this a go.
Thank you for calling Credit Card Underwriting Services. Your call may be monitored or recorded for quality purposes. To check the status of a credit card application, press 1. If you are calling about a personal credit card or application, press 1. To locate your application information, please enter your social security number. Your call may be monitored or recorded for quality purposes. We're sorry for the delay in answering your call. Due to the large call volume you're experiencing, your hold time could exceed 20 minutes.
Okay, well, this is really going to take at least 20 minutes. I'm going to cut the video right here, and I'll bring it back to you all once I have a live rep on the line.
Credit card underwriting, my name is Kayla. How can I assist you?
Hi, Kayla. This is Jeffrey Reese. I applied for the US Bank Altitude Connect card a little over a week ago and was wanting to check up on the status of that.
Okay, do you have a reference number, Jeffrey, or can I grab your social, please?
Let's do social.
Can you verify your zip code, please? And your date of birth? All right, unfortunately, Jeffrey, your application is turned down and you will receive a letter in the mail explaining your turn down.
Okay, got it. I did receive a letter. Let's see, it says something about maximum amount of unsecured credit already available. What does that mean exactly?
That's the maximum amount of unsecured credit we would be able to lend out to you.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I do have more than I need on my Altitude Reserve card. So is there a way to just, since I don't need any more credit, I just like the product itself. Is there a way to use any existing lines that I have to open up a new account?
No, sir.
Ah, bummer. All right, well, hey, thank you nonetheless. And that is what a hard denial sounds like. And the funny part of all this is that as I was having that brief conversation on the phone, in my mind, I was recalling a previous situation where I believe I was denied for a US Bank card years ago, and I tried to open that account with existing credit that I already had. And if I remember correctly, they denied me for the same reason that you just saw right now. So I'm not sure if it's going to be 100% of the time. It sure seems that way anecdotally based on my 2 data points, and especially with how the rep answered. No. In other words, they do not, US Bank, allow you to take credit you already have to open up new card accounts. I've not heard of anybody else doing it. I myself have had no success trying that. So if you personally have been denied by US Bank, called Recon, moved over existing lines to open up your previously denied account, let me know down below in those comments to help other people out to see if it's even a possibility with maybe even some small chances. Now, for a couple strategies that I could have implemented perhaps before applying for this card, number 1 would have been to request a credit line decrease. I know you probably never hear of people doing that. Why would you? Well, here's one reason. Based on your credit score, your level of income that you're making right now, however your debt situation looks with your reported balances, if you have installment loans like a car payment or something, your total debt levels, and your overall financial picture. Because remember, a credit decision, it goes beyond just your 3-digit score. They look at a broader picture. So if you were on US Bank's side, based on what they could see as an underwriter. Would you give yourself another $10,000 or more or less, or would you just deny yourself? So looking at all my current balances, I've got $22,000 alone on the US Bank Altitude Reserve, another $5,000 on my US Bank Cash Plus card, both of those are on the personal side, and then another $10,000 on my US Bank Triple Cash Rewards card on the business side. I applied as a sole proprietor at that time, which means they just used only my social security number, so I'm not sure if that was factored in overall. I'm assuming it is. So if you add all those up, that's $37,000 of credit. I could see myself being potentially eligible for more. Other banks have given me more, but US Bank being more on the conservative side, I at least understand them a little bit. Of course, there's no way to guarantee myself an approval for this Altitude Connect card if I requested a credit line decrease, but if I had done so to lower my overall exposure with US Bank, that could have put the approval odds more in my favor. Perhaps, getting rid of $10,000 on my Altitude Reserve before applying for the Connect, maybe I would have been in a better position. But because there was no guarantee, because I felt no risk of being denied for this reason, I was wrong. That's okay, it happens. I wanted to preserve what I already had. And therefore, when I have a bid limit like over 20 grand with one card, that does help keep my utilization down on that account, so I don't have to worry about making early payments or managing my utilization. And then for another potential workaround, although this would take a lot longer, would be to increase your income. That's not something I could do from one day to the next or 1 week to the next really quickly like that. You report your annual income on a credit report. So it doesn't have to be exact, especially if you're a sales rep or you have commissions or whatever, or you have income that fluctuates. You want to do your best estimate of what you will likely earn for the year. So based on my earning level right now versus my credit lines versus debts and all that, US Bank was like, nope, you're maxed out. So perhaps in the future, once I make more money per year, I could apply again, assuming all other variables were the same, and maybe that would help approval odds too. Now let's go back over to my denial letter because there's some stuff on here that I think you might all find pretty interesting. Here's what they said. We also obtained your credit score from Experian and used it in making our credit decision. Your credit score is a number that reflects the information in your credit report. The credit score can change depending on how the information in your credit report changes. Your credit score was 779 on May 11th, 2023. Experian FICO Score 9 scores can vary from 300 to 850. And then some more factors we'll talk about in a moment here. So data point number 1 here was that they pulled Experian. Now that may or may not be the same for you if you were to apply for a US Bank card, because the different bureaus might be used in different regions even with the same bank. You would have to look across different credit forums and online sites, blogs, for more data points to get a broader picture and try to find data points for people who live in your area. All I can do is share my experience based on what happened for my application. Also interesting point number 2 here was that it was the FICO 9 score. And of course there's FICO 8, 9, now 10's coming out. There are different scoring models that weigh different factors to a different degree. So I'm not going to go into all the details of FICO 9 in this video, but that's just a data point for you all of where US Bank is right now in early 2023. And then pretty much with every letter you get, whether it's an approval or a denial for a credit card, they pretty much always include the section that says the key factors that adversely affected your credit score were bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. And this does not necessarily mean that they denied you for this reason. It could be a part of it, but more likely it's just saying, hey, your score is X. In my case, 779. While a great score, that's still not an 850, which is a perfect score. So what is holding me back? Well, here are the factors holding me back per their algorithm. Therefore, if I wanted to focus on increasing my score based on the FICO 9 model through Experian, then I could focus on improving these areas. So let's take a look at these right here. The first one says lack of recent installment loan information. This one is way too common, but it does make sense. Now remember, your credit score is not a score representing how good you are with money or how wealthy you are or anything like that. Rather, a credit score is more like a debt score. It is how good are you with managing debt. So when you see lack of recent installment loan information, installment loans are referring to a loan type where you pay in installments. For example, one payment every month until the maturity of that loan. So a car payment is a great example. I used to have a car payment. I recently took the Dave Ramsey approach, and once my lease was over, I decided, you know what? I'm done. I want to buy it out and just write a check. I've been saving up money for the past few years on the side, and I want to be done with it and have no more installment loans, no car loans, none of that on my report anymore. Now that is a great financial decision. You've removed some debt from your life, which is a great thing. However, from a credit score perspective, they want to see how you're managing debt on an ongoing basis. So if you remove a huge loan like a car loan, it's no longer there. Well, we can't really gauge your ability to pay back loans right now with that loan type. So that's why it's hurting my score, because I'm not able to show how I'm doing with managing that type of debt. Silly, I know. It should be. If you pay off a loan, that should boost your score. But remember, with a debt score, it doesn't necessarily work that way. Number 2, too many inquiries in the last 12 months. All right, you got me. It's true, I do have a number of inquiries in the past 12 months. If you saw the end of the Watch Me Apply video for this card, you will have seen my credit summary screen, which showed that I did have 9 inquiries on Experian. However, that was the number of inquiries in the past 24 months on Experian. Although I did not count the number of inquiries for the past 12 months, as I said on the denial letter, I had 8 new opened accounts in the past 12 months. So, based on the time the account hits versus when inquiries fall off, it's going to be 8 or 9 inquiries in the past 12 months, which is, yeah, a lot. Factor number 3, the length of time the revolving accounts have been established. I personally like to use Credit Karma for this because their dashboards are very simple, straightforward, and they give me all the info that I need in a really easy to follow format. So you can see here, per Credit Karma, my average age of accounts, which is all my accounts, my oldest one, my newest one, and everything in between averaged out. That's 4 years and 4 months. The rating of that is it needs work, because the longer the history, typically the better for your score. And 4 years, 4 months really is not that long. But you can see down a bit further, my oldest account is 8 years, 9 months. My newest is only 4 months. It's still a baby. And then the average again at 4 years, 4 months. So scrolling down a bit further here, you can see I've got a variety of accounts that are fairly old, between 6 years, 7 years, even 8 years. So I do tend to keep a lot of the cards that I open. I maintain them long term for credit score reasons, also for review reasons, also just for hands-on experience. I like to use different rewards programs and different products from different banks. Part of it's curiosity, part of it's YouTube business, and part of it is value to me based on my spending habits and which cards I like to use. Also, moving down even more, on the page here, I do have quite a few cards that are really young. So 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7, 8, 9 months. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 accounts that are not yet even 1 year old. And again, the reason they gave me on paper here was length of time revolving accounts have been established. So it does not directly call out average age of accounts or anything like that, just that apparently there are some accounts that have not been established very long, perhaps referring to the number that I have here, 6 of them, that are still quite young. And on paper, mathematically, looking at it from an objective standpoint or an underwriting standpoint, when you see someone getting more and more credit, especially in a shorter time frame, that looks like a high risk activity, because it might say, oh, this person needs credit to help them financially because they're not able to pay it all in cash. And the 4th factor, length of time accounts have been established. Length of time revolving accounts have been established, number 3, versus length of time accounts have been established, number 4. So revolving means you have the ability to have a balance that you've accrued, you've bought stuff, you rack up a balance, and if you revolve it, that means you don't pay the whole thing off. Let's say I had a balance of $2,000, I pay back $1,500, I have $500 left over that didn't pay off on my card. They charge me interest, by the way. and then I move it or carry it to the next month. When you carry an unpaid balance from one month to the next, that's called revolving, and revolving lines of credit allow you to do that type of behavior. So perhaps they're referring to some of my charge cards, which are not revolving lines of credit. Charge cards generally are just you pay in full. You spend $2,000, you pay off $2,000. If not, you get hit with fees and penalties. All I can say is that my revolving type of accounts, which are standard credit cards, and all my other types of accounts, perhaps charge cards, have not been open long enough to merit those higher scores. And generally, if your goal is to hit your 800 club or even the perfect 850, you've got to have a long credit history. You could do everything perfectly right, managing your money super well, having the right balance of cards and all that, not applying too aggressively for new ones. But if you don't have a long history, I'm talking, 1, 2, 3 decades, you're probably not going to see those top perfect scores simply because you have to have a long credit history to reach a great score. Or I should say a perfect score, because once you get comfortably into the 700s, then you are doing great. And with all that said, if you enjoyed today's video and believe it could benefit other people, then please help me get it in front of them by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and turning on those notifications. Also, check out the links down below in the description area to earn some more cash back when you shop online through Rakuten, to get $25 when you open a new SOFI checking and savings account and deposit just $10 or more, plus an additional bonus and an insane APY after you set up direct deposit, and to view my site with some great credit card offers that I've organized into different categories to help you find the cards that you like best. I thank you all for watching today's video. I hope it brought you some great value. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and while you're waiting for it to be uploaded to this channel, always remember that you are great.